Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, I'm taking you to the Mega Master League and showcasing a powerful Primal Groudon team that helps me climb back up to Veteran Elo after some ill-advised sets in the Willpower Cup. Now, Primal Groudon for this team is on the lead using Dragon Tail, as Dragon Tail allows it to get to Precipice Blades in only 15 turns. To cover it against problem Pokemon like Florges, Kyogre, and Mega Gyarados, we have Dialga Origin as the safe switch and Thunderbolt Melmetal as the closer. So without further ado, let's hop onto the matches, and let's go Primal Groudon! Hopping into the first match, picking up a dominant lead win, Primal Groudon into Crown Form Zacian, opponent safe switches into Palkia. I throw 3 Dragon Tails and then bring in Dialga. This is actually a pretty convincing matchup for the Dialga, as long as you do those 3 Dragon Tails before switching. Your opponent is only going to be able to get to an Aqua Tail plus a Spatial Rend, but with the Dragon Breath rework, that should not be enough to pick up the knockout onto Dialga. So they get to land the Spatial Rend, but it's just simply not enough damage, and now their Zacian does not get a ton of farm. Back in comes the Primal Groudon. Groudon farming up so much energy, my opponent is going to do a pretty nice job here of throwing when I have a massive amount of energy and forcing me to go over 100. They're at -2, which means this Fire Punch will one-shot from basically full HP. Here, I wait the turn because I was expecting them to do 1 and a catch, and they don't switch, which means now they're forced to burn their final shield. Close combat would not KO the Primal Groudon, but it seems like they're weak, so I'm more than happy just to stay in. I throw 2, wait the turn again, trying to throw an unpredictable timing. This will easily KO that Crown Form Zacian. In the back is Mega Latios, and it's just all over. Latios is unable to make it to a nuke move. Precipice Blades connects, picking up the one-hit KO, and that's a good game. Hopping into the next match, we've got the mirror match, Groudon versus Groudon. My opponent safe switches into Florges. I'm going to farm up 3 Dragon Tails and then send out Melmetal. Melmetal is very, very convincing as a Florges counter. However, the bad news is that my opponent, after Florges gets KO'd, can get an incredibly aggressive farm going with their Primal Groudon. This team is very weak to Primal Groudon energy, as the entire team has a weakness to ground. So, the moment Groudon comes back in, I'm going to have to pivot into my own Groudon. Double Iron Bash lands, they send in their Groudon, I'm bringing in my own. My opponent farms up to the Precipice Blades, I'm thinking about it, I call it, it's the Fire Punch bait, and just like that, we are back in it. Oh my goodness, Precipice Blades would have easily one-shot, but now, suddenly, things are feeling a lot better. This is only a Fire Punch, but I have to shield something, because I need to get rid of this Primal Groudon. I'm expecting that when I make it to this 3rd Precipice Blades, my opponent is just going to catch out. So I'm already making the plan now. I'm never going to throw this move. I'm going to farm up to the Precipice Blades, switch when they catch, but they didn't go for the catch. I guess they were fine just letting Groudon get KO'd. This is so bad. I shield up the Fire Punch, desperately trying to get to the Iron Head. Opponent tries for a catch now, and they send in Palkia. Palkia is going to get sent back to the Pokeball in a hurry thanks to Roar of Time. Roar of Time connects, picking up the KO onto Palkia. I still have that Precipice Blades banked if I need it. In comes Primal Groudon, and Primal Groudon will win Charge Stack priority over Dialga's Iron Head. Precipice Blades comes out, picking up the knockout. I do have energy on Melmetal, and I'm going to fire off this Double Iron Bash. Double Iron Bash into the Groudon will not pick up the knockout. In comes Florges. Florges going for the Chilling Water, but Chilling Water will not do enough damage. Melmetal able to hang on, and I'm going to farm up so that way I'm 2 off of the next move. This should allow me to make it to a Double Iron Bash, and against all odds, Melmetal is actually going to be KOing a Primal Groudon to secure this win. We still have the Precipice Blades banked in the back, but for this game, we will not need it. We pick up a bad lead in the next match, Primal Groudon into Florges. You can save switch Dialga and go for the Iron Head as soon as they get their Moonblast. I tried to click the Iron Head there, but unfortunately there was a little spinny ball at the top, and it didn't let me click the Iron Head, which is unfortunate, and now my opponent makes a savage catch. Oh, that is devastating, catching the Iron Head onto Primal Groudon. Primal Groudon, as I mentioned, is a really big problem for this team, as I'm very, very weak to Precipice Blades. I aggressively pivot into my own Primal Groudon, but my clock wasn't up in time for it to be a 0-turn switch, so unfortunately I do get the 1-turn switch. I will just look to continue to farm up. I'm going to be shielding everything because Precipice Blades would be way too much damage and continue the farm. My opponent tries for a catch of a Precipice Blades onto Lugia, but I'm able to hold on to my energy, go for the Fire Punch, and then just look to bank all this energy and send in Melmetal, and there it is. Melmetal hits the field. Switch timers are so misaligned at this point. They will go for the Aeroblast, and that's going to do big damage, even to Melmetal. Melmetal farming up as much as possible, going for the Thunderbolt. I really need this to knock out the Lugia. Thunderbolt into the Lugia, does not KO. In comes Groudon, and Groudon, will they respect a potential superpower? I don't have it, and they don't respect it. They call that it's just the Double Iron Bash, and that is really unfortunate for me because 2 Double Iron Bashes will not KO. They're going to undertap, maybe predicting I would go for the combo play, but I just stay in. So Fire Punch will pick up the knockout. I'm going to bring in my Primal Groudon, and this should only be a Fire Punch. Fire Punch is, of course, going to be resisted, so it won't do a ton of damage. In comes Florges, and I think he's going to call this. So I'm going to full send Precipice Blades, but he doesn't. He shields. We switch into Dialga and get the catch. We're fighting for our lives in this one. Chilling Water is going to be undercharged. That's going to set up a farm, but I will get to this Iron Head. Iron Head, even at -1, will put them into Fire Punch range. I'm forced to click the Fire Punch instantly, and now it all just comes down to this. Lugia is 1 off the Aeroblast. Do they survive 1 Dragon Tail? In comes Lugia. They survive by the narrowest of margins. Lugia just too bulky. Aeroblast KOs the Groudon, and we will lose that game. We move to the next match, and it's a great lead. Groudon into Zacian. Opponent safe switches into Palkia, and I'm going to go for the exact same tech play that I went for in that first matchup, which is the 3 Dragon Tails and then bringing in Dialga. This ends up being an extremely comfortable matchup for the Dialga. You give very little farm to the Zacian because you win this matchup with such few HP remaining. My opponent will get the Aqua Tail, but as always, that's not a problem for the Dialga. Aqua Tail lands, Dialga does get that farm down, and here it looks like the Zacian actually gets 1 fewer Metal Claw than they did the time before. That's quite nice for me. I'm going to be waiting down the timer and then bringing in Groudon. In the back is Mega Gyarados, and I'm already feeling pretty good about this game. I'm just always going to be saving 2 shields for the Primal Groudon. I go for the Thunderbolt, that's going to connect, and that is some sizable damage onto Gyarados. Here, my plan is simple. I'm just going to be committing to the Thunderbolt because, unfortunately, Double Iron Bash does such little damage that I need to force my opponent to actually throw their energy. So that's what they're going to do. They will fire off energy. This will knock me out, but I have 2 shields and a Groudon. I'm feeling pretty good. In comes Zacian, and I'm not baiting. I'm just going straight for the home run ball here with the Precipice Blades, but they will put up the shield. Throughout the course of this game, I have taken some damage, so I'm not quite in close combat range yet, but we're kind of getting a little bit close. They go for the close combat, and here I make a huge mistake. I thought Fire Punch wouldn't KO. I think this was one of the first battles that I did with the team. Once they're at -2, Fire Punch will KO from this health range, so I threw the close combat for no reason. They go for another close combat. There's the switch into Gyarados, and now I will go for an undercharge on this Fire Punch. I need it to not KO, so that way I will be able to outpace this Zacian. In comes the Zacian. Zacian will not get to the close combat. The undercharge wins it for us, but this was a game that was heavily in my favor, and I almost threw it by going for the Precipice Blades when I should have just gone for the Fire Punch. We see same leads in the next match, leading once again into Zacian, and once again a safe switch into Palkia. So is this going to be the same team as before? Palkia will fire off their Spatial Rend. That does inflict some very sizable damage, and at this point, this is feeling like a pretty comfortable matchup. I played it again and again and again, but no longer do I get a sense of deja vu as my opponent will actually play for alignment. Considering that it's probably going to be the Mega Gyarados in the back, I'm feeling pretty comfortable just bringing in the Melmetal, conceding switch advantage, and then I'm going to leverage the energy and shield advantage on Groudon to sweep. Aqua Tail lands, they will get another Aqua Tail, and then I can just snipe down with the Groudon. Their Gyarados is really spammy, but they're going to have a really tough time. I now have a full Fire Punch banked, but it's not the same team. It's Kyogre in the back, and I lose the game instantly. I throw the Fire Punch. They call it. A Precipice Blades wouldn't have KO'd anyway, but I'm going to lose with 2 shields. Oh my goodness. Those 2 games were back-to-back, so I was lulled into a false sense of security thinking that, you know what, surely it has to be the Gyarados in the back, but unfortunately it was not, and I end up paying the price. We move to the next match, Groudon into Ho-Oh. I know Precipice Blades is resisted, but look at that damage. Groudon is an absolute animal. They're gonna go for a Brave Bird and a dip into, what is this? It's a Shadow Annihilate, and this is actually so bad. I am so weak to fighting in the back. The one good thing I have going for me is that Annihilate does not have great stats in the Master League. Annihilate will go for the Rage Fist, now buffing up their counters. And if I can't make it to a second Iron Head with this new Dragon Breath pacing, I'm going to lose this game. They do have enough for the Rage Fist. Will they throw it? No, they try and go for a farm down, and that's going to cost them as Dialga makes it to the Iron Head. Iron Head KOs the Annihilate, and in the back is Mega Latios. I am pretty low on the Groudon. I don't think I have enough health to get to a Precipice Blades, and no, I do not. So I just get the Dragon Tails, and I will go for the Fire Punch. All damage is good damage. I send in the Melmetal, but Latios got Aura Sphere this season. This is going to be big damage. Aura Sphere is going to connect, and they're already at another Aura Sphere. I do know the Ho-Oh is one off of a Sacred Fire as well. There's the switch into Ho-Oh. I throw 2 and the move, going for the Double Iron Bash. Double Iron Bash is going to pick up the knockout. In comes Latios. I really need this Double Iron Bash to pick up the KO. Latios is very bulky. They survive, but we Thundershock down and escape with the win. We've got a tough opponent in the next match, but an amazing lead, so that's definitely going to help. Zacian safe switches into Florges, an ABA Fairy strategy from my opponent. I bank 3 Dragon Tails, send out Melmetal, and so far, everything looks amazing for me. I've hard won lead, and I'm going to be winning the mid-game as well. However, anytime a mid-game like this is going on, I'm always worried about giving farm. I hate letting things farm me down, because with an energy advantage, a losing matchup can be flipped to a winning one for my opponent. So here, I could throw the potential Double Iron Bash sooner, but I was worried they were going to look to try and save energy and pivot out, so I would rather force them to throw, and now I can go for Double Iron Bashes and just look to pick up the knockout. The moment they bring back in Zacian, I'm pivoting back into the Groudon. If they have Kyogre, this play is going to lose me the game. So I'm going to bank some energy, send in Groudon, but thank goodness, it's the other water type, it's Gyarados. Up energy, and with 2 shields to hide behind, I do have play. I'm going to farm to 100 energy, because that's enough for a Fire Punch plus a Precipice Blades. The Fire Punch bait gets the shield, now I'm going for the Precipice Blades. Gyarados has to be careful. Precipice Blades would be too much damage, they will put up the shield. And now, they have, I believe, back-to-back moves. So, I'm going to be shielding. I will get outpaced. I'm going to switch into the Melmetal. They switch as well, sending out Zacian. But Thunderbolt will add up here. Thunderbolt is going to land. Now, don't get me wrong. Thunderbolt doesn't do a lot, but we get to another Thunderbolt on very low HP. And I have a Fire Punch banked. And this should be easily Fire Punch range, so I bring in the Groudon. I'm going to win Charge Stack priority by 1,000,000 over the Zacian. Fire Punch picks up the KO. In comes Gyarados. Gyarados can knock me out with the Aqua Tail, but I have a full health Dialga Origin, and I believe that I can take whatever they throw. In comes Dialga. Gyarados sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Hopping into the next match, leading Groudon into Florges. Very bad lead, because obviously Florges has Chilling Water. I safe switch into Dialga, planning to throw the Iron Head as soon as they get to the move, but unfortunately they pivot out. They have a pretty nice check to the Dialga as they send out Primal Groudon. As I mentioned earlier, probably the biggest weakness of this team is it's very soft to energy from an opposing Primal Groudon. They do a nice job over farming, knocking me out with the Precipice Blades. I bring in my own Groudon, but I already think that I'm in quite a bit of trouble. I have to give back the shield because Precipice Blades would one-shot me, and I can't even overfarm as much as I'd like either. I really need Melmetal to have a dominant end-game matchup here. They're going to bring back in the Florges. I throw a Dragon Tail. In comes Melmetal. In the back is Palkia, and unfortunately, Melmetal, while it does resist Dragon Breath, Melmetal's lack of stats really show their face in this matchup as Palkia can just so outspeed it. And these Aqua Tails, the absolute barrage of Aqua Tails, unfortunately just kind of buries Melmetal. I will go for another Thunderbolt. This Thunderbolt is going to be getting them into the red HP. I'm going to look to switch, see if I can snipe them down with the Dragon Tail from Groudon. So I switch into Groudon, but they switch out. They were too fast. I'm unable to land that Dragon Tail, and that's going to seal my fate. Fire Punch bait does get shielded. I'm going to be no shielding, but the unfortunate thing for me is they're going to be able to get to a second Chilling Water. And once I have gotten debuffed by 2 stages, my Precipice Blades just simply will not KO. So I put up the shield, I get to the Precipice Blades, but now probably the best move in the entire Mega Master League will not KO. In comes Melmetal, but there's the Palkia right on cue. Palkia snipes with the Aqua Tail, down goes Melmetal. Groudon gets the farm down, but they stored the Chilling Water. Very well played to my opponent. Tried what I could to maneuver my way out of that one, but that was just an incredibly tough team comp. Hopping into the final match, we've got Primal Groudon into Mega Scizor, an absolute dream lead. Opponent save switches into a Dragon Tail Kyurem, and that is a pretty cool pick. I bank a bunch of energy on Groudon, and now I get to send out Melmetal. They will do a lot of damage with Fusion Bolts, but the nice thing here is double Iron Bash actually does quite a bit of damage to the Kyurem, and I intentionally tried to Dragon Tail them into a range where I could knock them out with the double Iron Bash. So they will go for Fusion Bolt number 2. That's going to get me very, very low, but if they end up shielding this, I'm just going to go for farm on the Groudon. They know shield in the back is Palkia, and unfortunately this is just a bit of a hard counter game. I send in Dialga, they bring in Scizor, they know Groudon can win that matchup very comfortably, so they will resign the match. All in all, I had so much fun getting to use Primal Groudon. I know that I hit Veteran with Primal Kyogre, but Primal Groudon being able to land these Precipice Blades is an incredibly fun move to use. And the fact that you get it so much faster due to the rework on Dragon Tail is really, really nice. Because Mudshot, it's obviously been reworked over time. It got a little bit more damage, but a little less energy generation, so Groudon kind of lost that pacing. But with the new rework to Dragon Tail, Groudon is back, and it's a little bit spammy here, spamming out these Precipice Blades, at least for how much damage a Precipice Blades can do in a neutral matchup. Even something like a Mega Latios, which is incredibly bulky, or a Mega Gyarados, they do not want to take Precipice Blades whatsoever. So this team, I ended up having some pretty nice results with it. You could definitely run Zacian over Melmetal. Zacian is the far better Pokemon, but the reason why I personally opted for Melmetal was I wanted something that could hit back into Primal Kyogre. Because if you don't see Primal Kyogre, the Zacian version will be stronger, but if you do see Primal Kyogre, and you have a Groudon plus a Zacian core, then you're just getting swept by the Kyogre. So I think both versions of the team could work, but all in all, I'm just basking in the fact that Mega Masters is back, the triple Mega Glitch is gone, and this is just a really fun format. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy watching content like this, please do consider leaving a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.